Get this 11 to 1 weekdays on the Triple M network. Pushing buttons, it's Richard Marsland.
The testosterone level of a 12-year-old girl and testicles the size of peanuts.
Yeah, all right.
Well, what's that from?
The Man Whose Arms Exploded, which
Oh, was that finally on?
it was on the weekend and not as funny as the title suggests. It actually ended up being a dark journey into the abyss of steroid abuse.
What have you got there, Richard?
We've got an email.
Yeah, have we?
Fantastic on Capril.
April, this is our idea. Whole nation wearing capes for the month of April.
Whole month.
It's from Matthew. He says on 19th of March he's heading off to the Caribbean for a few weeks of cricket, then going to the United States, New York, Washington, Jazz Fest in New Orleans, and finally the home of the Cape Graceland.
Is that right?
And he was wondering if, with all of our talk of Capril, if we wanted any happy snaps of a Get This listener wearing a cape, cavorting about Graceland in a cape.
What I want is photographs of him cavorting New York and the Caribbean in the Cape.
Everywhere.
Yeah. People would expect a cape at
Yeah,
Graceland.
yeah, yeah.
The idea is capes where you wouldn't expect to see them.
Exactly right.
Major surgery. All the surgeons in bright lime green capes.
That's
People
nice.
directing traffic with capes
Yeah,
on.
now we're talking.
That sort of thing. Reading the news in a cape.
Oh, lovely.
We also need to come up with a positioning statement for Capril as well.
What are you working
What's the positioning statement?
Capril, are you capable?
Are you
Oh.
capable? Billboards, are you capable? Nothing else on the billboard.
Really good.
Just rendering the public
Really good.
mystified for a
Really
month.
good.
And then we boot it home.
Bang.
With the capes.
Bang.
This is so good. It'll probably never happen. People have been emailing about this film, Balls of Fury. It's a ping-pong movie about the unsanctioned, underground, unhinged world of clandestine ping-pong tournaments.
See, my problem with that is there's nothing particularly dangerous. You know, like is it Wrong Bet? The original Van Damme movie where he has to put he's got sticky tape all over his hands and he puts it in the shards of glass and then they start boxing.
Yeah.
I can see why they banned that.
Was that in Weeklies? Was that a mover at the video shop when you worked there?
I rented all of Van Damme's movies chronologically and watched them all.
Wow.
Yeah.
And what did you notice?
His hairline, as his hairline receded, the darker it got until the end. I think they were just painting with texture his hair for the first 3 inches on his head.
You're joking.
Yeah, and as he got older and could do less and less kind of stunts, we got more and more just like shots of his face looking menacing.
Yeah.
And then someone doing a roundhouse and then back to his face.
Yeah, see, I saw James Brown live towards the end, and he'd be getting up towards the dancing bit. And you're going, how's he going to pull it off? How's he going to do the splits? And he'd just go and stand up the back. 4 women in American flag bikinis came out and did all the dance moves. While he's up the back, texting somebody. I'll just be up here in your own time.
To be honest, that sounds better.
That would have worked good for the Van Damme
Yeah,
scene.
that's a great
Just
idea.
for the fighting scene.
Whenever the bad guys come,
He goes and leans against a crate, does his emails.
ladies come out.
Yeah.
Gus.
String quartet comes
Oh,
out.
hello.
Bang.
My mother is upset with me because yesterday I said that her best friends in New Zealand were Steve No Teeth and Steve No Shoes.
Yeah.
She called up and said that's not true. They called something else. But she's got a new best friend.
Who's that?
Well, the other day, I don't know if I've told you this yet. She was standing outside and she saw a guy with all tats and stuff who always hangs out the front of the building.
Right.
And a couple of times she said to him, and he's always smoking, and she said, hey, can you wander off? You can't just hang out the front smoking all the time. And they're running some kind of illegal hostel in the building or something like that.
Yeah.
And he kept going, no, get lost, get lost, get lost. The other day he came up to her and he said, look, I'm really sorry. I was cross with you. You can tell I've been in jail. People can pretty much tell. And no one will let me forget it. And Mum's like, oh, I'm not really like that. I don't care if you've been in jail. And he goes, oh, okay, good. And then she said to me, and then I stopped and I realised he's been in jail. He'd be a really good gardener. So she's brought him upstairs, and now Mum and him spend Tuesday afternoons gardening together.
Is that right? And
Yeah,
when's
it's a new best friend.
When's the special day?
I'm not sure.
She got him knocking up some number plates as well.
At the moment, I'm only calling him Uncle Johnny the Shiv, but it might be Daddy Johnny the Shiv pretty soon. Here's hoping.
Add him to the list.
He, the funniest thing is, the next family event that we had, everyone shows up. Johnny the Shiv shows up, still in the shorts, the thongs, no shirt with the fag hanging out. No one would even bat an eye.
Nah.
They just say, pass the sarsaparilla. Your name is Johnny the Shiv. Good on you. We're related? Great.
Moving on, smokers out the front. You know when sometimes you wish you had a camera? You know when that happens?
Yep.
That happened to me one day. I saw
Tennis.
I don't mean on the end of your shoe.
Oh, right.
Richard. I once saw a whole bunch of people standing around having a smoke out front of the Quit building. And that's when you want to have your camera.
I saw on your Today Show this morning that I think they're planning an Anna Nicole Smith telemovie already. Big Hollywood producers are clamoring over themselves to get the rights to the movie, and they're working on who's gonna play her. Reese Witherspoon, perhaps. They're talking about the original monster, Charlize Theron.
But they always talk about these movies, but then they end up being something, some really crappy telly movie.
They sure do.
He actually said that. He's like, well, I don't know if I see it as a biopic or it's just like a television movie.
There was that one of Marilyn Monroe that was shot in Melbourne.
Yeah.
Called Blonde.
Oh, really?
And they shot about like 6 shots in Hollywood, and then the rest of it was in Melbourne. So you'd see Marilyn Monroe in the back of a convertible going down that street with all the really tall palm trees from Beverly Hills, and then she'd overtake the camera, and then they'd cut to the gloomiest, rainiest, most Camberwell-looking house you've ever seen. And there was just endless number of Australian actors.
Yeah,
just
that's always the giveaway, isn't it?
just running in and saying, 3 more minutes, Miss Monroe. Shocking.
Joe DiMaggio emerging from the MCG.
There was a good one with about the Three Stooges, which was made here. I'm just watching it, and then Rachel Blake walks on. You go,
Blakey.
There we go, red flag. It's obviously an Australian movie.
And wasn't Russell Crowe? They were trying to get Russell Crowe. The Farrelly brothers wanted Russell Crowe to be curly.
You're kidding me.
This bowling ball shall land upon my head in this our merry England. That'd be great.
So Anna Nicole's coming, but surely Chappelle's got one.
Yes.
Surely. I mean, with these new revelations.
Mercedes. Jodie Power's mum.
Power.
What a casting bonanza.
Well, I've got some ideas.
Let's hear 'em.
We know it's coming. Mercedes Corby, Jake Busey.
That's very good.
He's the
Chappelle Corby will be someone like Kate Blanchett.
Well, I reckon Rowena Wallace. Look at it.
Very
She looks just...
No, that's unfair.
She looks like her. She looks
Rowena
like...
Wallace
Yeah.
as Chappelle Corby.
She looks like her.
That is poor.
Slap
That is...
a wig on her, she looks like her.
No, it's got it.
Come on, Tone.
She'll be much more saintly. It'll be like
no way.
Kate Blanchett in a sort of nun's outfit, just worshipping in a single candle in the corner of the scene. That'll be the
I'm gonna
poster.
cry.
We've gone off the rails. I'm still back on Anna Nicole. Who's going to be playing that old guy? That's going to have to be a job for master makeup technician Rick Baker. He'll have to be fully animatronic.
What about the guy that plays Gollum? What's his name?
Oh, Andy Serkis.
Yeah, he'd be up for that.
So they do
Jeez,
it.
you were said with contempt in the studio, wasn't it? You guys hate him.
No, we were fine. He just
You hate him, Rich.
well, he spends a lot of time with all those balls on him.
Yeah, he does, doesn't he?
Because he did
Yeah.
King Kong as well.
Yeah.
He's pretty good. He was in that Kate Hudson. He was in some film.
He was in that Kate Hudson, was he? You're talking nonsense.
What a
in some
bombshell,
film.
Jesus.
Oh, my God. Hollywood's ablaze with tattletales. What about, I tell you, we need a Todd and Brandt kind of
Oh, TB.
update. Where's that? Where's Shaft of Hope? Surely that
Winning
should be
awards.
on our screens by now.
Well, the animation's after winning some awards.
yeah,
the
the one we provoked is doing well, but what about a real Todd and Brandt telly movie? I'm
See,
thinking...
but that would be good because Shane Jacobson, who plays Kenny,
Oh, yeah, he'd be very good.
what do you reckon?
He'd be
Because
perfect.
you'll watch it. It's like Snap.
That's Todd,
Yep.
and then Dave O'Neill, Brandt.
Great.
It's ready to go.
What? But the theme at the moment is game shows. Perhaps we could turn it into a game show.
Yeah. Todd and Brandt down a mine is a game show.
Oh, well, that's all they're making at the moment.
I think it needs musical numbers. I think we
That's
want to
true.
see Todd and Brandt
That's true.
down there singing a whole new world,
Close your eyes.
a whole exciting
No.
point of...
No.
And then you cut to upstairs.
Yeah.
And everyone's crying. Naomi's on the corner crying and joining in. A whole new world. Koshy in the back of the ambulance. A whole exciting point of view.
Everyone at home, the people at home,
Eddie signing a check. A whole new... Wouldn't that be good?
get together the cast of Hey Dad, back in the house, cut to
Whole
them.
new world. And just a muffled singing from down the mine. And Bill Shorten in his
Short.
bomber jacket
The short.
doing the high notes.
Oh, yeah.
Adding a touch of glamour, Cal Wilson is here.
Cal.
Cal, thank you very much for inviting myself and Mr. Marsden, our producer Nikki, to...
Oh, I invited Ed as well. He just didn't show up.
Yeah, to your engagement soiree on the
Prior
weekend.
engagements, what can I say?
A prior engagement.
To the engagement.
Yeah, no, I got a lot of stuff on, Cal.
Yeah. A lot of stuff that he told
Right.
Richard Marsden after the show yesterday not to mention on air. What's going on
Oh.
there?
Oh.
Hey, Cal.
Can we have another break now so I can hear about that?
I did not.
What?
Did so. You took Richard aside after the show and said not to mention your
Hey, Cal,
Friend.
you know how they've got Kitten War?
Yeah.
From Canada.
Can we tell everyone listening?
Ever again on the
to
show.
go- Can we go?
Yeah.
What's at kittenwar.com?
And we on
Kittenwar.com.
Kitten Wars now.
Yeah.
So we've got it away from the Canadian ambassadress.
And what it is, how would you describe the cat that's winning at the
Okay,
moment?
hang on a second.
Kitten Wars is a
Okay,
site.
I have to
It's
look
a
at it.
war
Okay.
between kittens for the prize of being the
cutest
cutest.
kitten.
Being the
Okay, so
cutest cat.
you could describe it dryly as being a small grey kitten held in someone's hands, but I would call it.
Cat lovers.
That's pretty much what it looks like.
I used to be one of you people, and then I married into a Labrador family. I've defected to the other
I
side.
wanted you just to say I married into a Labrador.
There you go. Wouldn't be the first time.
You've got a kitty cat door on your house.
We've got.
Yeah.
It's also got the lot number on the...
Yeah, that's a bit sad. Well, what happened was we bought two numbers and we liked one more than the other, and so we've put the second one up above the cat flap. And I'm trying to find an A,
Oh,
so
that's
it's like
cute.
the flat.
Yeah, that's cute. Hey, you told me a great story about your Labrador. You are turning me, Tone.
Yeah.
I'm thinking Labradors these
They
days.
love a laugh.
But,
It's endless material.
but what about you were telling me cat lovers were
Yep.
obsessed with how they look.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Dog lovers are obsessed with like their supposed personalities.
But there's not a lot of conversation with a cat.
No, there is.
What conversation?
You can all
The dog's up to about 80 words, I think, now.
really?
Salt and vinegar chips. It knows that one.
Russages.
Oh, he doesn't speak them, but identifies them.
Yeah.
We'll fetch the lead.
Yeah,
Just
yeah.
go fetch your lead. We'll run and fetch the lead. Then we just got it down to, you want to go to the park?
Oh, yeah.
And now
Got it
it's just
down to
literally, what are you wearing? What are you wearing?
Wow.
It knows to go and get its lead.
And so has that come out of it listening in on a conversation you're having on the phone?
I think it's taking. Yes, it's me calling my accountant.
Oh.
It's taking notes. The Labrador will take notes. And no spelling, can spell words.
What, like
Why?
B-A-N-A?
Well, no, can't spell them, but we'll note. So you go going to the park, and then
Yeah.
a new park. So
Yeah.
then we have to go P-A-R-K. And then it goes, hang on, I know that. That's either pork, which would be good as well, or park.
And how excited does she get?
Nuts goes, just runs round and round a circle, turning into butter. That's what it does.
Do you think, though, that she's just picking up on your body language because you're going, like you're over-enunciating or being a bit excited yourself? I don't want to break, spoil the magic.
Good idea. If you just sat quietly reading and then just sort of, put your magazine down and said, "What are you wearing?" and then put it back up, would she know?
Oh, well, that'll be an experiment on the weekend. It's Sunday afternoon gone. But what sort of conversation can you conduct with your cat, Cal Wilson?
You can go, ow, get off my face. You can do that.
Goal.
Yeah, no, they come to a whistle. I whistle them in. That's
Really?
pretty smart.
that's
yeah.
good.
Yeah.
Not as cute as Bitsy.
This okay. This is a ginger one that is eating its own paw. So, and this one of you describes it.
This is, oh dear. Please visit kittenwars.com.
It's kitty porn. That's what it is.
Just a reminder to visit the Get This website.
The union has described the site as a death trap.
Oh, that's just wrong. Our website isn't a death trap.
Not at all.
How did that happen? There's lots there. What is there? Cal Wilson is here. And I think you can go to our website and see Cal's gallery of gifts that she gave us at
Amazing.
Christmas.
Still sitting at pride of place on my desk.
Yeah.
That's
Beautiful.
oh, you didn't like it enough to take it home. Oh,
Ah, it has no home. That's the problem.
that's one of those things. Thanks, I'll keep this at the office. But I'm okay.
It's
I'm
at my
okay.
place. It's up on a special podium at my place.
Yeah.
Where's it? Yours, Rich, in like a glass
No, it's on
case
my-
that
it's on my-
rotates with lights?
It's on my work desk at home. Yeah,
Whatever.
it's fantastic.
Wow. What else is on that work desk at home?
Yeah.
What other projects are up on
What
blocks at
else is going
Chateau
on?
Marsland?
Yeah. The sex show live on stage.
You and Bessie Bardot
You
back
and-
together.
You and B. Bardot.
Working out the synopsis and treatment for the new series of Erotic Stars coming up
Oh, yeah.
on Foxtel with Bessie.
And practicing for your bout, your music trivia of Smackdown with Alan Bro. That's what we're going to try and do, Kat. Who do you reckon would go best? Marsland v Bro.
It depends. It depends on the area. If you were to do sort of obscure, slightly depressed New Zealand bands, Alan would
Yes,
win.
I'd be in trouble. All I know is the Mutton Birds. Does that
Oh,
sound-
yeah, they're
Pulled
too
along
careful.
by
No,
love.
They're much
Great
too
song.
yeah.
Pulled along
No, we're
by
talking all
love.
the like
Great.
all JPS and the Chills and the
The Clean and the
Yeah.
Bats and that lot from down south. He'll be
Yeah.
across that, but you'll get him on,
people with weird haircuts.
there you go.
Ramones rap songs.
Yep,
Yeah.
Dee Dee Ramone, Funky Man.
Okay.
Oh, hey, don't peek too soon, fella.
Okay, sorry.
Two blokes in their dressing gowns, ready to go. head-to-head. Blatant misnomers. That's what we were going to talk about here. Things that are just wrong. Listen to this. This is what I read. I can't believe that this could be true. Almost 1 in 3 Britons thinks that if a woman jumps up and down immediately after sex, she can prevent pregnancy, a survey revealed.
That's wrong. It's blatant.
Thank you, Matt.
Thank
We
you,
hadn't
Maddie.
heard that yet. That was great. Yeah,
Jumps up and down. I would have thought it jumps up and down. I mean, obviously, that's a round of applause. That's a thumbs up if she's jumping
Yeah,
up
yeah.
and down.
yeah. Good job.
But have you heard that before?
I'd read that and I did go, God, that's a lot of really dumb English people, isn't it?
Gee.
But what's the theory?
Probably haven't got time to go into all
Yeah.
that now.
Oh, right.
Yeah.
There used to be a show for that.
Did you cover that one on the best?
Yeah, I'm sure we did, yeah.
Did you?
The advantages of postcoital leaping.
Yeah.
Wow, those women in The Price is Right audience, they're clearly sexed up. They're clearly being preventative. Okay, that's the kind of thing we're looking for. What are they called? They used to be called old wives' tale.
Right.
Same reason. Things that are just wrong.
The thing about if you leave food on the floor for less than 17 seconds, it's not a journey.
It's
Is
3.
it 3?
3,
Oh.
5 at our house.
It's 3.
We had 17.
First, second, the germs kind of work it out. The second 2, they're coming over. And by 3, they're onto it.
It's about 4 weeks for our Labrador. That's still good. That's got another week to really get up to speed, that one.
Does your dog do this in front of visitors? Because my cat does. The floor is completely clean, but as soon as someone comes over, the cat goes around and pretends to eat stuff off the carpet.
Just letting you know.
Yeah, look at this. This is going to annoy them.
Our dog will just be staring at the fridge, focused, just for hours, waiting for it to be open. And then you'll discover that what it's thinking about is a single crumb that's under the fridge, just out of tongue reach. That's what it's like. But hang on, misnomers. Got one, Mr. Marsland?
Well, I'm just worried about the segment. Maybe it's there's a misnomer going on here.
Because-
with the title of the segment, because isn't a misnomer an incorrect title for something
I don't know.
rather than an actual wives' tale? I just want to ask the question.
That's wrong. It's blatant.
Did you work that out? Did you go and look that up?
Isn't a misnomer like something like the wrong name for something?
We just
Yeah,
like
I
the
think
sound.
you're-
It's
I
a
think
good
you're right.
sounding word. Misnomer. It's got the word gnome in it. I like it.
Sound,
what we use,
competition for garden gnomes, you know?
Joe from Algester has emailed in and he said that he went to Sizzler and he ordered a meal. Here's your first problem.
What do you mean?
You don't order a meal at Sizzler. You go the all you can eat.
Of course, yeah.
A massive bacon cheeseburger with chips, thanks for the detail, as well as a salad and drinks bar. But the time my meal came, I had filled up on too many fillers like pasta, cheese toast, and fizzy drink. I was too full after the meal and could only manage a little bit of dessert.
Right. Well, where's
How-
the misnomer there?
How many times do we have to go over it,
Of
people?
course.
That's wrong. It's blatant.
Exactly right. Pasta? No. Cheese toast? Definitely out. Fizzy drink? Why would you want to fill your stomach with gas when there's literally buckets of bolognese where you just stick your face in it and slurp your way to victory, man? A little bit of dessert. Where I come from, the soft serve machine. What you do, Cal, is you get the soft serve machine and they've got the salad bowls. They're bigger than the dessert bowls. You get one salad bowl filled with soft serve, a second salad bowl just filled with things you might like to sprinkle on
on
it.
top.
This is what I'm saying.
I thought you might just lie under the soft serve dispenser
They
part.
kick you out.
Oh.
Maybe
All right?
you've got to
They
run a
kick you out if you try things like that.
course in. What about if you ran a course? Right way, wrong way, at all you can eat.
That'd be great, like an adult education course,
Yeah.
a teenage education course.
All you can learn with Ed Cavalier. All right, misnomers. Anyone else got one they want to get out of this?
I find that if there's a shop that has fashion in the title, like Lucy's Fashion Wear, there's never any fashion in the actual shop. If you have to
That's
say
wrong.
there's
It's
fashion, there is none.
The Crime Investigation Network,
she's-
fast becoming our
Yeah.
favourite network
You
here
two
on Get This.
talk, but
Well,
nothing else.
There was a cops marathon last
Oh,
night, though.
really? How
Any you don't know me action?
Well, like normally they just play cops in like 25-minute breaks, but last night it was like a 2.5 hour.
Surely there was at least
Buffet.
one man in his underpants saying, "You don't know me."
Yeah, any of that, surely.
Guys with their tops off. There was a couple of car chasers, guys driving on nothing but their rims. I enjoyed that, but there was another guy. You know how the
How
guys...
far do they get on their rim?
Pretty far. He went through 5 counties, man. But there was one guy who, someone had a fire going in their house, and the cop was really confident. He was talking to the camera saying, "There's a fire going at this place. I've got to go and save the occupant inside before the fire truck gets here." He rolls up and he's trying to bash down the door. It's a screen door. It won't give.
Yeah.
And he's going, "There's a fire in the house. Get out." And he smashes 4 windows, manages to break through the window, gets the lady out in her nightgown, this old woman, and then he discovers that the fire was in the house next door.
So what do? Just push it back through the window?
How do you file that one? You know, it's just quite an embarrassment for the cops, like normally.
Here's a great crime story. Macedonian police arrested 2 men who stole 2 bridges and tried to sell them as scrap metal. Police said Man 1 and Man 2 had taken the 2 10-metre bridges down piece by piece, but a scrap dealer got suspicious when 20 truckloads containing 200 tons of steel turned up at his yard.
He got suspicious when there was toll booths with toll collectors still in them on the back of the truck.
Hey, where'd you get the bridge? Oh, bloke down the pub. Said it fell off the back of, an even bigger bridge, in fact, somehow. David Hicks, that business. Did you see Downer, Alexander Downer, on the Sunday program yesterday, talking about whether it's just some,
Is he pro Hicks?
Well, it's an election year, so yes, apparently. Okay. Although, maybe that's not fair. Listen to Laurie Oakes.
Now, does that mean you want the Hicks issue off the agenda before the election because it's a problem?
Well, it's not so much the election. I mean, it's, I think the program that you've just shown demonstrates... Don't necessarily agree, of course, with all of the facts there.
No, I've always had a problem with facts myself. They just get in the way of business, I find.
Sick of facts? Sick of facts proving them wrong.
Pesky facts!
Well, as soon as we get rid of them, everything's going to be all right.
Other big stories, Sylvester Stallone.
He's in town.
Yeah. And he was, we still don't know what was in the bags or up the back door, wherever it was. It was described as possibly being a performance-enhancing substance. What would a performance-enhancing substance in a Sylvester Stallone film be? A large screen to place in front of the actor, I would have thought. But then you go, what was it? What could he have had in the bags? And then I read this morning, Stallone, 60, keep that in mind, is on his way to Thailand to film, and I didn't know this was happening, a 4th installment in the Rambo franchise.
Oh, dear.
What might a 60-year-old man who's starring as Rambo have in his bags? Something for the man boobs, I'm thinking.
I've heard that the big thing in plastic surgery these days is man boob liposuction.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it's huge. Rich is nodding.
Yeah, no, I've heard of that. And also, I hate to bring it back to the man whose arms exploded.
You don't hate it at all.
You don't hate it at all.
You live there.
Yeah.
But one of the big side effects of steroid abuse is your man boobs. And so this guy had some...
What are the positives?
Obviously, it helps you, bulk up. You know what I'm talking about.
So all that bulk on your arms is coming from the gonads, according to that clip you were playing. Testicles the size of peas is the price of the gun.
Testicles the size of peas. Gosh, darn it.
Wild.
Why is there a 4th Rambo film? What will happen in it? Are there more people still in Vietnam? Hasn't he rescued everybody by now? They're going to be quite old.
He's going to go and braid some hair.
All right.
But hopefully we'll get back to the good old days of action films where it's, Colombian drug lords and Venezuelan arms dealers doing it broad daylight.
Broad daylight. Crocodile Dundee 2 style.
Middle of a field. No retreat, no surrender 2 style.
I've just got one final clip here. This was fantastic. Australia's Got Talent. Did you see that last night?
Did they, though? Did they have talent?
Well, it wasn't as slick as The Idol. So to me, that's a step in the right direction.
Yeah, same.
The further we can get back towards potluck, the happier I'll be. And Danny Minogue was one of the judges.
What? Oh, I thought she was on.
And there was a fantastic quote
She
from
came out and did a number.
Oh, no, we weren't that fortunate. But at one point, she did provide us with a fantastic quote.
Oh, yes.
This is apparently what the producers said to her after she auditioned to be a judge on the program.
Get it together a little bit more because we like the puppies and we want to see you again.
That's what people want. Britney Spears has gone bald. That's the headline this morning. I get in, a lot of people are telling me, have you seen Britney Spears? She shaved all her hair off. I'm going, we saw those pictures weeks ago. Oh, sorry, other end this time. Fine, move on. Move on. Best to move on. There's the pictures. You can barely see
Can I
them
see it?
because of the flurry of headlines.
Oh.
Oops.
Oh, no.
People tripping over to begin headlines with the word oops. You get the phrase Britney Shears.
Yeah.
Snip me one more time. It's just a headline writer's dream. Have you ever done that, Ed Cavalier?
Yeah, I had to, once for a play, I shaved my head. I was playing a really old guy.
Right.
And I shaved it on the top and around the bottom. So I just had that kind of headband of hair across the back.
Oh,
so it looked like I'd gone
yeah.
bald on top and down the bottom.
Right.
And that was when my mother told me that I looked like I'd been released because of changes to the Mental Health Act. Surely, what have you...
I've had pretty much the same look since about 84. You know that.
I know.
Since you were born, I've pretty much looked the same.
Yeah.
But I think that's directly as a result of a traumatic attempt in, I think, 82 to emulate what was then described as the haircut 100 look. Chunky jumper, braces over the top. Ooh. Perfect for being beaten up. Hard to get away. They've got the braces. Not going anywhere, nerd boy. So I've remained pretty much the same Where's Wally style since, 25 years ago.
Was it the jumper you already had, or was it one you went out and bought just for the look?
I think it was one, I may have bought. And then you've got to tuck it into the jeans as well. That's bad. The really chunky jumper.
I just want to
tucked
punch
into
you.
the jeans. Punch away.
Oh, Rich.
Oh.
Well, I've pretty much had the same look going on as well, but when I was
Were
about...
you a goth, bro?
No, I never really... That was when I had long hair at that stage. I used to have it like down to the middle of my back.
You're kidding.
Photos, please.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's probably some floating around, but one...
Were you ever tempted to go dreads?
Yeah, I was actually. Yeah, I would have given it a go, but I like my hair clean. You know what I'm saying? Like, I like to wash it.
There's your
Maybe.
first problem.
If we do dread timber, maybe Richard Marsden will dread up. That could be good.
But there is some footage of me at a yo-yo competition at Elizabeth City Centre.
Really?
Playing?
In South Australia.
Like competing, or?
Competing.
How'd you go?
And I won In Excess Kick on cassette, but that's a story for another time.
The weapon of choice, what were you using? Fanta?
No, it was a Coca-Cola Super Special.
Oh, super special?
Yeah, which
you cheat.
have the spinning...
inbuilt spin.
Yeah.
Mellow Yellow is the only true yo-yo.
But no, it was just one of those old man Akubra hats that I used to wear and some camouflage pants. And I remember walking on stage and the judge saying, "Nice style." And I thought it actually kicked off something quite big.
Okay.
I was a homeboy when I was in high school.
Really?
I was all out. I was LA Kings puffy jacket,
Whoa.
starter cap, mustard keppers,
British Knights.
BKs, LA
yeah.
Gears,
Aero
Patrick
Sports.
Ewings. I would never be caught dead in a
Aero
pair of Aero Sports, you know that.
No.
Crosby's.
Yeah.
My friend who had a pair of high tops, which he kept going on about the perforated toe box.
Wow.
Little holes in the front he liked.
I can't remember. We had none of this because it was about the time of punk rock when I was at school. And everyone was too frightened to copy any of that.
Yeah.
A radical look at our school was getting your ruler and then having it under your writing so that when you wrote a sentence, like the letters had a sort of a flat bottom.
Oh.
You know that look? That was you. We were leading the
guys were
charge.
on the edge.
The latest details are emerging from that woman's encounter with Rafe Fiennes, the hostie. She had dispensed with wearing underwear at work because a co-worker had been hauled over the coals for having a visible panty line. I thought, I'll show them I won't wear any underwear.
That will show them, literally.
I've always found not wearing knickers to be liberating, the hostie told Britain's Sunday Mirror. Yeah, it's great for during the safety demonstration, though. For your information, Mr. Fiennes, the entrances are here, and here. Sorry. Mr. Marsden, save us, please. What have you got?
I noticed you were having some troubles with the remote control this morning.
Yes, down in the office.
And it reminded me of a story last week. The co-inventor of the TV remote control, by the name of Robert Adler.
Oh, yeah.
He sadly passed away last week. It's under the headline Pause for Reflection, which I enjoyed. He died at the age of 93, and the funeral was marred by several of the mourners fast-forwarding to the good bits of the eulogy.
Got another one of those kids?
Why do you guys get boings and I get boos?
Apparently he was buried down the back of the couch. Oh, please, let's get to conspiracy theories. Shane's got one. Tell us about it, Shane.
I arrived in Brisbane Airport one time, got in a cab, and I always seem to get the biggest Fruit Loop in the place when I get in a cab, and made polite conversation about, "Oh, you've got nice weather. Has it rained much up here?" And he said, no rain, love, no rain. And I said, "I know, this whole thing, it's dreadful, isn't it, all this global warming?" He said, no. That's not the problem. The problem with the astronauts on the Apollo mission that took the rocks off the moon.
Shocking horror, another cover-up.
So he says they took the rocks off the moon.
Yes, and it changed the world's weather patterns after that. It was a global disaster, not global warming.
What if we put them back, it'll rain?
Yeah, so can we send them back? Can we put them in a post pack, fire them into space?
Shoot them out of a cannon.
Weather sorted.
There we go, done.
Yeah, because what's Richard Branson offering? 25 million.
What's he offering now? He's facing another movie.
I don't think 25 mil is a lot, really, for saving the entire planet.
What? That's a bounty.
Yeah, if anyone can think of a way to get rid of all that carbon in the atmosphere, apparently it's as simple as just sending the moon rocks back.
There we go. Shane, cash in. Get some rocks, throw them at the sky, cash in. Hello, Michael. How are you?
G'day, guys. I don't know if you've heard this one before, but apparently with cable and broadband and what have you now, you click on a page or whatever and the egg timer's going through.
Oh, yes. Now, this is something about what's going on while the egg timer's turning around?
Apparently it's going through, like this is obviously, a hypothetical or conspiracy, whatever.
Sure.
But it's going to some massive database on, if you're on an Apple computer, it's Apple, Microsoft.
Wow. So what are they storing there?
Well, apparently whatever information, like even as far as, if you do your banking on the internet,
They've got all your details.
Shocking horror, another cover-up.
Why does it take a second? If you're on broadband, instant flashing.
Kitten war should come up straight away. That's what you're saying, Michael. Rich, you believe this one, don't you?
Yeah, I absolutely believe that they have. Don't Google have a database of all their most popular searches?
Yeah,
I mean, where's that going?
Yeah. It's a lot to sort through. I mean, obviously there's some banking details in there, but you've got to get through a lot of Viagra and a lot of, bad reviews of Garden State by a gloomy goth girl in her bedroom. There's a lot to... I mean, you wouldn't want to be the bloke sorting through looking for a PIN number.
Thank you, Michael.
There's another sleeping cat. All right.
Hello, Damien. How are you?
Thanks, gents. How are you?
Really good, sir. Your theory?
Like Shane, I used to work in a bar, but I got a lot of nutbags as well.
Yep.
And this guy came in and told me that he knew I got with them had been sacked. But the real reason was that he had shot a UFO down over Queensland.
Shocking horror, another cover-up.
That's right, and the Americans wanted it. Goff said no. So Nixon went and saw Fraser and said, we can get rid of Whitlam if you'll give us the UFO. And Fraser said, yeah, okay, no problem.
All right. And why did Goff want to hang on to the UFO?
I don't know. This man's conspiracy theories were a bit...
How's the censorship on this call?
Damien.
What's going on? The CIA just sitting there pressing buttons,
Damien,
obviously.
are there any sort of red dots flying around your head at the moment, laser style? Because you better duck, bro. You're about to get taken out. Hey, look, I'm willing to believe that. I'm willing absolutely to believe that. I like the idea that Goff shot the UFO down himself.
Yeah, that's right.
Just wandering along.
And discovered Harold Holt at the wheel.
Hello, Peter. How are you?
All right, thank you.
Go for it.
Okay, mine's also to do with UFOs.
Good.
It's my own personal theory.
Yeah.
Fibre optics.
Yes.
Now, they've been around since the late 60s, early 70s.
Yes, mainly just used in spectacular 70s style lamps for a few years till they found a proper use for them.
What do we use them for now? Communication.
Yeah.
When they were first invented, the technology wasn't there to put communications onto a light beam.
Yeah.
I reckon they've got the fibre optics out of the spaceship that crashed at Roswell.
Shocking horror, another cover-up.
And they made pretty lights with it in the 60s to make money to pay for more
research.
More research on the UFO that they found.
So we're using alien technology.
It's alien technology. Fibre optics was invented when we had no real use for them except for pretty lights. And guess what? As a joke, they made those fibre optic things look like a spaceship. Those pretty lights.
Oh, it's all coming together. And then
together, doesn't it?
Goff found out about it. He found some lava lamps and a UFO. He wasn't handing them over. Now all our banking details heading towards Bill Gates.
Peter, you've cracked it wide open, son.
Total sense, doesn't it?
And, of course, the Roswell alien.
Yeah.
But that wasn't real, though. Later turned out to be Celine Dion, if you remember. Tony Moclair, welcome back to the network. He's on board today.
Ed, were you ever a fan of Radio Birdman?
Do you know Birdman?
I do know a bit of them, but I know that there's a very interesting connection between one of the people in Radio Birdman and... now, I don't even know if Tony Martin knows this.
No, I don't.
The movie Top Gun. Do you know the connection?
No, come on.
I don't. I've actually never even seen Top Gun.
Really?
Yeah.
Well, see, I nearly walked out of it being an aircraft fanatic.
Oh, okay. Wasn't up to scratch?
Are you?
Yeah, and they tried to pass off a Northrop F5E as a MiG-28.
Do you know what?
I didn't pay $14 to be treated like an idiot.
That's when I walked out as well. It was exactly that moment.
Yes.
Can I ask you something, Tony? A twin-engine Cessna, would you ever get in one?
Well, you know, the very old joke about twin-engine planes, generally, light planes.
No.
If one engine fails, the other one is there to fly you to the crash site.
Okay.
That's the old joke about those.
Okay.
But segueing from planes to Radio Birdman, Dennis Tech was one of the guitarists in the band.
Okay.
And he was American.
Okay.
After the band broke up here, he went back to America. He trained as an ER doctor and a naval aviator.
Wow.
And he was in the US Marine Corps, and he was serving in Hawaii when researchers for the movie Top Gun came and visited his MCAS, his Marine Corps Air Station.
Right.
Dennis Tech's handle, or his, kind of aviator flying name?
Yeah.
Iceman.
No
right.
Dennis
Val Kilmer
Tech.
played Dennis Tech?
Yes, he did.
How is Dennis's volleyball?
Richard, did you know that?
No, I had no idea.
Oh, you are you're out of shape, Mars.
I know a bit about Radio Birdman, but
So next time you see that movie, remember there's a proud Australian connection with it.
Could Radio Birdman be involved in our proposed Birdman rally, do you think, here? I can get this.
Great idea.
Yeah. We want to do some sort of Birdman rally. There hasn't been a lot of support for our Birdie Gras, the gay Birdman rally. Floats just driving off the end of a jetty into the sea. Not a lot of distance, but spectacular visuals.
So you got no support from Sydney AM shock jocks on that.
No.
That'd be a first.
No one's waving a flag for that idea.
To the producers of A Current Affair, I do want to know this question because I don't know if you were watching it the other night. Ed, I know you're across it. There was a great story on about battlers.
Oh, yeah.
Now the first story, battlers, these two battlers had acquired, one of them 95 properties, and this other bloke was like a miner.
Oh, yeah.
Wow.
And he had acquired, I think, 6 or 7 properties.
Wow.
So these battlers, between them, were worth about, let's say, $20 million.
That's not bad.
They then promoted the story after that, where a shopping centre in a rich, swanky part of some city in Australia wouldn't let battlers beg for money.
Oh.
Right.
So the very rubbery definition of battler means you've gone from being worth $20 million to begging in a shopping centre. Can we have some clarification, ACA?
If you just have a rich bloke with a real Locker accent, he can still be a battler. Like
so
Lindsay
true.
Fox.
Lindsay Fox.
He's always a battler.
He's a truckie.
He's
a truckie. Did you hear that? Oh, I just see myself as a truckie. You're having Celine play your birthday party, bro.
For $8 million a second, battling on, making ends meet. We were talking about phone pranks. Obviously, you've done a lot of them.
Yeah.
Have you done much phone pranking, Ed?
I don't have the guts, man. I don't have the guts.
Because it takes guts to make an anonymous phone call.
It does for me. I can't.
No, it really does.
When we were away, actually, I was away over Christmas. We were in Vegas with Ryan, and we were trying to get into a nightclub that night because we'd forgotten to go and get tickets. And Hamish was on the phone, like chatting away, and I couldn't even be in the same room.
Right.
I can't. I just get so embarrassed.
And that's not even a prank.
I know. It's like a legitimate phone call, and I was cowering in the toilet, just scared for my life.
You weren't even tempted to jump on and do, is your fridge running?
No, it's a wing the wrong number.
Are there any walls there? You didn't try that one? Is John Wall there? Jim Wall, Mrs. Wall. Are there any walls there? No, there's not. Then what's holding the roof up?
Oh, that's pretty good.
That's going to be a short album, the Ed Cavalier phone prank album. Richard Mars and Shock Jock.
I created a soundboard before soundboards were even created on the net. Like just through Cartrack, finding old offcuts from a Warwick Kappa session when he was voicing a promo.
Yes.
Oh, yeah. And I had Warwick Kappa saying, "Hi, how are you? Warwick Kappa here." Oh. And then called a whole bunch of celebrities that were in the producer's book and managed to suck in James Rain.
Oh, yeah.
George Danikian.
Right.
They all thought they were speaking to Warwick Kappa, but the only person who didn't go with it was Colette Mann.
Oh, really?
I couldn't suck in Colette Mann.
Wasn't biting?
Her bullshit detector is permanently on.
Amazing.
Good luck getting around that.
Who have we got on the line, Ed?
Hi, David.
About 20 years ago, I made a prank phone call in the area where I was living and managed to lose my virginity in the...
How did that happen?
That happened, David.
Well, me and a mate used to do it. We'd always dial like the first 3 numbers that were in the same area that you lived, so you knew you weren't hassling someone in another state or whatever.
Yeah,
so hang on. Does Ring-a-Root actually work?
Well, to this girl it did.
So what happened? What happened?
Well, I just put it to her like with that really nasty voice. I want to do this and I want to do that to you. And she just kept saying, "Well, that sounds great. How far away are you?" And I said, "Well, I've got to be local." And then when we got chatting, she said to me, "Look, I'll tell you who I am and where I went to school." And then I realised I knew her, and I was quite embarrassed about that as well. And I also knew her big brother. But I just went for a quick push bike ride down the other end of RW and.
Sorted.
That was the end of that. I was 18 years old. I couldn't wait. You know?
And she was working as a Qantas flight attendant at the time.
David, that is so romantic.
That's beautiful.
Well, we never saw each other again, and it's been great ever since.
Oh, I'm sure you'll be able to prank each other again at some point.
You know what
There'll
you
be a
are?
reunion.
You're giving hope to telephone perverts everywhere. The heavy breathing might just pay off, guys. Keep up the good work.
Get this, it's Blown Out to 2 hours, 11 to 1 weekdays on the Triple M network.